Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a book review for The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. So this book is the first of the eldest curses. So Magnus Payne is a warlock who also belongs to the Downworlder community, and Alec Lightwood is a very prestigious son of a very prestigious family, which are Maurice and Robert Lightwood. And these two men start dating at the time of City of Glass, and they start liking each other a lot more, and hence decide to go on a journey, on a vacation actually, during the City of Fallen Angels. So I also forgot to mention that this book review is part spoiler and part non-spoiler, and I will actually keep this first part as the non-spoiler, and I will let you know when I go onto the spoilers part, but there's time for that. And just stop watching it when I tell you that I'm going to go on to the spoilery part. Enjoy. So when they go to Paris and Magnus is just about to present Alec with a really romantic dinner, there is a demon activity, a demon attack in Paris. And they see these two shadow hunters fighting these demons and save their lives. And when they return back to their suite, they are visited by Tessa Gray, another warlock and friend of Magnus's, who tells him a really bad news. She tells them that there is this cult called the Crimson Hand, which has been mass murdering mundanes and fairies all across the world, and rumor is that Magnus Payne is the founder of this cult. So when he's confronted by Tessa in a really friendly manner about the Crimson Hand, he confesses to starting something like that as a joke, but he also does not remember a lot because he cannot recall his memories, and we think, and so does he think, that his memories have been wiped out for good, even though he did not request it. But since it's taking on a really serious and dangerous turn in his life, he has to now figure out how and where this started, and he has to wrap it up really fast. And both Alec and Magnus are hiding few secrets from each other, and this book really helps me understand how relationships work with deep dark secrets like these, and how they together overcome these kind of problems. So Alec has his own issues to deal with his family. For example, he has come out to his family as gay, and his sister is basically the most understanding person. And I just love the fact that when he goes on this vacation, it's so natural to show his human side, where he misses Jace and Isabel, his friends and his siblings, when he's out. So Alec doesn't like hiding things from his sister especially, and he feels bad in the beginning that he has to lie to his sister about a lot of things, and he tells Magnus that he has told Isabel that there is this cult out there and he wants to help. But Magnus is a little upset about it because now he has to worry about what Alec's family thinks of him. And I really liked seeing that dynamics together. So Magnus is very disturbed and guilt-ridden throughout the novel, and I really liked seeing that dark, conflicted side of him in this. And this book actually was so much better dealing with Magnus's personality, his actions, his behavior compared to the Bane Chronicles, because that is just basically about all his rendezvous trips, and this is a good comparison. It's a fresh comparison to that. So I personally have a problem with Cassie's villains because they are quite boring and they do not have a lot of substance and not very well developed. I also wish that they had more human flaws than just like with a shout out label saying that, oh, I'm evil and I have no other personal uh, hobbies or personal flaws other than just being evil for the sake of being evil. However, her books are very addictive because they execute action adventure very well, and also the struggles of the characters that we see. So my friend has also pointed out, even though he's never read these books, he like asked me, okay, do the characters, do the heroes always win? And I said yes, and I obviously could not deny that that kind of gets boring and unrealistic after a while, and I think it can be played on. But I also see that Cassandra Clare puts a lot of struggles and barriers for our characters like ADHD and transgender and gender issues in general and racism issues in general. And I think that when she puts these struggles for them, it makes a representation of these kind of people a lot more effective, and we see them not glorify their illnesses but see them as something that they have to be rid of to win against the villain. And that's what I really like about her characters, and she has taught me to be sensitive towards these kind of people, understand these kind of people, and these plots are just tiny circumstances for these characters to act around, make choices and decisions around. And I also really liked seeing Aline Penhallow and Helen Blackthorne meet each other for the first time, and their relationship actually starts growing here. And although I still want a book on them. Cassie, please write a book for them because I would love to see that. I really appreciated the fact that Alec Lightwood had given so much respectful space towards Magnus when Magnus refused to share some parts of his past. And he does make mistakes once in a while. One of them is when Alec and Magnus go to this party that is being held in celebration of defeating Valentine Morgenstern from the from the Mortal Instruments. Valentine was a really uh, bad man who really discriminated between the Downworlders and the Shadowhunters. He is frisked twice and he gets very agitated about it, and he's like, what is this? Why am I being touched so many times? And he doesn't understand that he is a Shadowhunter from a higher privilege, and Magnus calls him out on it. And this is a kind of honesty and eye-opening experiences that these two go through together that really opened my eyes and heart to see, because I think it's very inspiring when you grow together in a relationship. Alec wants to do pretty much anything to make Magnus happy, even if it means that he has to back off a little sometimes. And I think that was adorable. Alec is one of the kindest characters I know, even though he has a very guarded heart, but he learns to trust people quickly, and I really love that. Magnus Payne is a sort of character who keeps his heart guarded, yet also throws so many parties, and I think that is a kind of a distraction where he doesn't have to think about his past often because he's been a warlock who's been living for centuries. So the couple meets Shin Young, who is also another warlock who has basically third wheeled them throughout their journey. So she comes with the agenda that the Crimson Hand has destroyed and shattered her life to a really great length, and she wants to find the founder of it and take revenge. She also really annoys Alec by interrupting and taking sides between Alec and Magnus's lovers' spats very unwantedly. And even when she starts making friends with Magnus, Alec gets a little uncomfortable, but he stays very respectfully silent. I also really admired her brazen attitude when when actually this offender bumps into all three of them, and she kind of throws that guy in the water, and I was kind of impressed. Like, no, wait, I was quite impressed. And Magnus tells her that I don't think inducing fear um, changes a person's mind, whether they're whatever kind of offense that they have made. Her approach of instilling fear in them is not going to change that. And ladies and gentlemen, we can count on Alec and Magnus's activism 24/7, wherever and whenever it is needed. I also really love the fact that they paid attention to homosexual relationships only because they help me understand how these relationships work, what is offensive, what is not, and how natural they are, just as natural as any other relationship. So this book was quite dark enough on the observations of evil practices, child abuse, and trauma, and that actually really impressed me because YA very rarely deals with evil practices. So I give this book 4 stars. It was incredible, and that 1 star less is because the plot should have been a lot more stronger than it is. I'm so sorry about that. It's something is happening to the electricity. So far this review has been non-spoilery, and now I'm going to move on to the spoiler section. The thing about Cassandra Clare is that you cannot read, it's very difficult to review it without spoilers because it's just the kind of book that makes you rant a lot after that. A lot of emotional baggage is involved, and that's why I had to divide it into 2 parts. Not all my reviews are going to be like this, mostly very specifically about with Cassandra Clare's books. So I hope that you have left this video by now, especially for those people who are fans of Cassandra Clare and will want to continue reading her books, and if they have not read this particular one and do not want to be spoiled, please stop watching this video. So I had started becoming quite suspicious of Shin Yoon since the time when she starts comparing her magical abilities in a friendly competition with Magnus Payne. And I know it looked sweet, but in my opinion, I think you guys must have also been figuring out, for those who have read this book and stayed back for the spoiler part, that she is basically trying to figure out the limitations and capabilities of Magnus's magic. So she was a better villain before we found out that she's a villain. Because before we found out that she was a villain, she was really smooth with her encouragements, with her words of kindness, and how she dealt with that offender, and how she had like made Alec sympathize with her situation, along with Magnus, and I also was sympathized for her. And so far I think she is one of the best villains in all the books of Cassandra Clare that I have written, because she does have a good past, but it can be improved a lot. Because one of the reasons that I found really cringy and more on the downside of hers was that when Asmodeus comes down, like to crown Magnus as the new great poison, she really begs for him. I know that she felt so left out of her family life that she looked up to Asmodeus, that she did not see that Asmodeus did not give a damn. But you know what? I felt so happy that when Asmodeus disappointed her, she stabbed him. You guys figured that out, right? It was amazing. So let's explore the character of Asmodeus. I think that he could have been a great villain if he was introduced as a villain. And when Magnus is taken through his painful memories to the time when he had to kill his stepfather because his stepfather was a cruel person who abused his stepkid because he thought that his stepkid killed his mother. Even after that, when they're both on the sacrificial altar, he gives Magnus the choice to be crowned as the great poison and continue the cult. But Magnus says that no, my choice is not to hurt these people. Asmodeus does not kill him, even though we know that he's gonna come back in probably the next book and the next after that. And on that note, the book review is done. Thank you very much everyone. Bye bye and happy Halloween.